Welcome to the JD Remedy. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the JD Remedy. I make myself laugh. Do you know what? I've come to the realization that every single introduction I do to my podcast episodes, I never say the word remedy just casually. It always tracks off and goes high pitch and kind of lingers. Remedy. I don't know why. It's in my head. It has to be said like that. I don't know why. I'm not going to apologize. I think it's hilarious. Now, every time I do an intro and you guys listen to it, it's going to be hilarious. I hope that's the joy that my episodes are bringing to your life. Just a couple of seconds of one word in the English dictionary can be said so many ways. Anyway, a little bit off track there. Welcome back to another episode. It hasn't been a hot minute. I'd like to say that I'm pretty proud of myself of the consistency, and I've had a lot more free-flowing ideas and connecting to a lot of people that want specific content, and it's just been really exciting to share some stuff with you guys. So a little update on little old me. Honestly, nothing major. I think last time I mentioned we were in spring, but it's Perth. And it's low jokes, let's drag on winter, because it is still raining and it is still cold. I'm getting impatient. He meaning Perth, gives us a little, this is what sunshine looks like. Do you remember this warmth? The clouds disappear and the sun beams down, and then it's low jokes and takes it away. So dying for a bit of warmth and sunshine. All the summer pop-up festival events are coming out, and what really reminds you of the warm weather here in Perth and socializing. We're doing pretty well in WA with the coronavirus pandemic. The only cases we're getting are from people traveling back home. We've just had a big outbreak on a ship, I think. Something to do with Port Hedland. I don't know. I don't follow the news very well. But every single person that has been testing positive is in hotel quarantine. So I think we're doing a really good job at containing it. And I think for the majority of the cases, everybody's safe and recovering well. So positive things happening in Perth. We're allowed to do events and everything, which is something to really look forward to. And it's looking really good toward the end of the year. We'll be safe and able to spend time with loved ones around Christmas. And I know not a lot of people can, so I'm definitely grateful for the opportunities that we're having day to day and week by week in Perth at the moment. We actually just had a long weekend here in Perth. We celebrated the Queen's birthday, so we all get a day off work. Thanks, Queen, for being born and letting us celebrate for you. So what did I do? I just literally played Sims 4 on my computer for 72 hours. No joke. I'm obsessed. Have been for many years. And I don't know if any of you guys listening play The Sims, but you kind of just get lost in the world and carried away. And before you know it, you've been playing for 9 hours straight, and you're should probably eat something or go to the toilet. There's real life to be lived out there, but no. I like living in the Sims world. I'm controlling everything. I honestly just took the time to relax, do what I enjoy. I went to the gym. I visited my grandparents, went to dinner with my partner, and honestly just chilled the fuck out. And I actually did a little bit of work on Saturday for my business. I have been designing a new course for you guys. I'm super excited for you to see it once it's launched. You'll see some stuff floating around to do with that soon, but definitely in alignment and flowing a little bit better with some course material for you guys. Today's episode is going to be a little different. I'm a little excited for you guys. Or not a little excited, I'm a lot excited. Today is a special one because it's going to be my first time having a guest appearance and an interview style on my channel. It's something I want to start doing regularly. I mean, I'm pretty perfect, but I don't think I have all of the answers. Once you guys get to know me, you'll know that I'm super sarcastic. I have English humor, take the absolute piss out of myself and everything. So don't ever take anything I say seriously when it's in the sense of me calling myself perfect. Obviously, my work is very serious, but you get the gist. I'm not that obnoxious and egotistic and up myself. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm pretty perfect, but I do like to draw on other people's experiences and lessons and knowledge. I believe talking to other people is such a powerful thing. You have the right conversations with people at the right times for the right reasons. Does that make sense? My brain just compiled that. That's fantastic. So yeah, some pretty fascinating stuff. Today I'm interviewing Nadine. She is my friend from New Zealand. We talk in the episode about how we met, and the powerful message she has to share. She does a bit of coaching in the realm of self-love, but more so coming into her own in spirituality and how the mind and body connect, and the importance of that in your everyday life. So really, really powerful stuff, especially for you girls or boys listening that are on that self-love journey. I think this is honestly just a cherry on top, or maybe what I want you guys to do before listening to this is go into this episode with an open mind about this is another tool that you need in your toolbox that's going to fine-tune your car on that journey to self-love. Some of you guys may have heard me talking about that before. I love and use a really strong metaphor around your car is your body and your vessel and your soul on this journey to self-love. And sometimes you just need to fill it up with a bit of fuel, take the time to look after yourself, hence your car. So this can be another tool in your tool belt that fixes your car. Shit, metaphors are so powerful. I love them. So grab that toolbox out, get ready to add this spanner to the works, and let's jump into it. Welcome, Nadine. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. That's good. Yeah, really good. I'm super excited for today's episode with you. To give people a little bit of a background, you and I met by fate, I think. By fate. The stars aligned and brought us together. We have recently finished quite a couple of courses together in personal development and business through Wild and my mentor, which you guys would know a lot of by now. I talk about him all the time, but yeah, definitely on the same path and have similar goals. Yeah, I know. I don't talk about him at all. He's not important. This is about us. About us today. So yeah, welcome and thank you for joining me. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you actually do in your business.
Cool. So hi, everyone listening. I'm Nadine and I am from New Zealand. So I'm a Kiwi. I grew up in a little town called Te Aroha, which is, I think the population was like 5,000.
Wow.
So very, very small in comparison to Perth.
Yep, very small.
And what I do in my business is I'm a coach. So in my personal journey of coaching, of being a wellness coach, a nutrition coach, I've kind of gone through all the niches of what coaches could be. And through that was my own personal development and self-love, self-worth, confidence of that, and just recently I have come out of the spiritual closet and really stepped into my spiritual side around energy and the masculine and feminine energies to better connect with myself. So it was more from a personal step for me, but it's brought out a next level step for me and my business as well.
Absolutely. That's a really powerful next step. And I suppose it really ties in to everything that you already taught. I mean, for me, the spiritual and energy type of things that I've just noticed on your Instagram and social pages, which I will link for everybody as well, has definitely been an eye-opener for me. And I'm assuming it's just the beginning of what you're about to open. But especially for my audience with young females and self-love, tell them a little bit about, I suppose, your personal journey with self-love and confidence and what empowered you to start the business because of that.
Yeah, I guess my self-love journey started when I was like 6 years old. And it came from a place of where everyone around me, so when I was like younger, I was like the chunky girl, or I carried a bit more weight than like my friends and stuff. But I was always, chunkier. I like the word chunky because it's like cute.
The cute
From
one.
yeah, from when I was like, from a baby, that sort of thing. And I remember being, because I used to sleep with my mum and dad up until I was about 7 or 8, I think, just because I think I was scared of the dark and I just didn't like sleeping on my own. So I'd always sleep with, my dad would go to sleep first, so I'd jump in bed with him. And I remember one time in primary school, so I would have been, I think I was 6. I remember I had a crush on like the hottest boy in like junior primary school.
Oh, the days.
Yeah.
Those days.
And I remember this like as if it was like a dream, like a really vivid dream, but obviously it happened. And I remember he must have like found out that I liked him, all the girls liked him, but he particularly found out that I liked him. And I remember him and his best friend at the time, and we're all friends now, but him and his best friend at the time, he was like, I would go out with you if you were smaller. And I was like, oh.
And how old were you?
Oh, I feel like I was 6, but I may have been between the age of 6 to 8. And I just remember it like crushed me. Like I'm pretty sure I like left the classroom like crying, or I was like in the middle of lunch. And like for a 6, for like, a child, that is like soul crushing.
Yeah.
That is like ridiculous. Soul crushing, especially from your crush.
So my God, the irony.
Having your soul crushed by your crush. And I was,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so I remember going to sleep one night, and it was around the same time as when I was quite mystical and spiritual, and I'd make like potions out of like dirt and flowers and shit. And I remember I was really into like wishing, like I felt like I could, which is now probably a form of manifesting, is that I would wish every night that I would be skinny. I wanted to be skinny. I wanted to be that skinny. I wanted to be that, like badly, that I would wish before I went to sleep that I was skinny. Wow. And I was like, now that when I first started like going through the self-love journey again, when I was like over the last couple of years, I went back to that and I was like, holy dang, I wonder like I had all of these like issues, self-image issues like later on in life, because back when I was like, just a wee little, girl just running around wanting to play and shit, I got my like soul crushed by my crush because I wasn't small enough or whatever. And so that was sort of like way back starting my first I guess journey into self-love. But then what ended up happening was I got tonsillitis in the senior syndicate of primary school. So I was maybe like 10 or 11, and I couldn't eat for a week, so I lost heaps of weight. So my wish came true, except then my friends were like really, really concerned, and I thought I was bulimic, and I was like, no. So this was for those listening that are maybe, I don't know, pre-24, 23. This was back when there was no phones.
Oh man, I miss those days.
Yeah,
Jesus.
so this was back when there was like the landline.
The dial-up internet.
Yeah, the dial-up, the time of dial-up internet and landlines. And so the only way that you could contact your friends was either by landline or seeing them at school. Mm-hmm. So I had lost like quite a substantial amount of weight in a week because I literally could not eat anything.
Wow.
It was like my second bout of tonsillitis, and it was like so bad that I was like, I'm surprised that they didn't take them out. But anyway, so I lost all this weight. I went back to school, and I was like, oh sweet, like I'm skinny now. I'd forgotten about the whole crush thing, but that had sort of started my, I guess, body image journey of that I was skinny now, so I needed to stay skinny. So I kind of fixated on, you know, doing sport. I didn't know anything about nutrition back then, and it just was a matter of me going through the cycle of going through high school and you know, learning things along the way as I went. And then it wasn't until puberty, or just a little bit after puberty, and it was about halfway through high school, and I noticed that I didn't have boobs. Well, I have boobs obviously, but I didn't have, you know, I wasn't endowed with boobs. And so I automatically felt self-conscious of that because everyone else did.
Right.
And so I kind of felt like left out. And so I'd made up this story in my head that, you know, like I really wanted them and all of this kind of stuff. But then obviously it wasn't until later when, you know, the girls that had boobs were like, you don't want them because they're sore as fuck. And I was like, okay,
back problems.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like being young, especially as female, it's like, that's a journey in itself. Forgetting about body image and everything else. It's a journey in itself of just being a woman.
Yeah.
And so where that's led me to now is learning that because of this, the disconnection we have with our bodies growing up, the disconnection we have with our cycle, with you know, our hormones and how it affects everything that we do, but we don't get taught it in depth enough to understand, is that affects what we do on a daily basis and we don't even know.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's where I've kind of stepped into the space and within my business and within my coaching, is to help both men and women, but more so women, understand how to connect with their bodies around body image, but also educate men at the same time around why it's important.
Yeah.
And why they need to know, because it's not just women that have missed out and given misinformation on everything to do with our bodies and hormones, but it's also men as well. So I remember a couple of weeks ago I went climbing with my partner and his friend, and I brought up something around myself, like women's cycles or periods or something, and like he jokingly said ooh, but like he is obviously supportive of everything I do, but he jokingly said ooh, and then his friend said ooh, and then they started talking about wanking and like boy about boy
it's an automatic reaction, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I was like ooh, like jokingly about them. But the fact that this is something that actually happens is that when we talk about periods, or we talk about like vaginas, or like our anatomy, the stuff that people walk around with, it's looked upon and shamed upon. And so it's really hard, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen for men, but for the purpose of this conversation, is that as women, we've already been shamed enough in the past that it's time for us to take that empowerment back.
Really strong word. I love that. Do you try and teach, I suppose, in the biggest perspective of things, of body confidence and self-love for you, do you feel like a lot of that missing connection for females is understanding how to spiritually connect with their body and understand how their body actually works, and how that can actually empower them, and I suppose empower them to fall in love with themselves, really? Because if we don't understand how our bodies work and why, that might be a massive disconnect in self-love.
Yeah. So everyone knows about the whole mind and body connection when it comes to fitness or comes to nutrition, is that if you get your mind right, your body will do what you want it to do, kind of thing. But what I've discovered lately is the heart and body connection, and that connection with soul or spirit, so the spiritual side, with that science behind what it is that our bodies are actually doing on the inside. Because until we have an awareness of what's actually going on, or what it is that our bodies are capable of, like we all know that we're capable of having children and we're able to carry children for 9 months and all that sort of thing, But everything else that goes on within that is when we can become aware of it, it just gives us so much more power and more knowledge into who we are, into why we might do certain things, and how we can actually work with our bodies rather than working against them.
That's really, really powerful. And I think I've definitely learned a lot from you, from our personal conversations, but also a lot of the information you put out on your platforms, just about, I forgot the word you used. It's all about the universe and the energy and the spiritual connection and how that affects everyone differently and individually, but at different times around the year. And that kind of just blew my mind. Like, all of us are not only in sync with our periods, but you know, all of the energy that's going on around us and how that affects us day to day. But especially what I really felt was emotionally. And it was so powerful, and it just kind of blew my mind, everything you were telling me. So you can talk a little bit about that if you like. And
was that about retrograde?
Yes, that was the word, the fancy word that I didn't remember. Retrograde. Yes. Tell the listeners about that.
Yeah. So retrograde, like, so for those listening, some will have heard of the term Mercury retrograde. So when retrograde is just when planets appear to be going backwards. So that's like the scientific way of looking at it. But in terms of what they're actually doing is that the energies are changing. So it puts, just like the moon has energy contributors to our tides and that sort of thing, and makes us go crazy on full moon and that sort of thing as well, is that each planet has different energies, and it brings different energies to play when they're doing the certain things that they're doing. So if you were to look at moonology, that's the science behind the moon and where all the other planets are in alignment with it. When it comes to retrograde, so at the moment Mars is in retrograde, which so Mars is, in terms of like mythology, Mars is the planet of like war and aggression. So for those listening, if you've had an uplift within suppressed aggression, or you're more irritated or frustrated, this can be a reason why. Or if you're feeling unclear around certain things, or you've been like streamlined for a really long time and then all of a sudden it's just been like a massive block, this can be a reason why as well. Now obviously it's not a matter of us blaming everything on the moon and the planets, but it's a way for us to understand the bigger picture of energies that are at play around us, because essentially we're just a soul living a human experience in our body, which is a vessel, which ties it back around to that self-love and connection to our bodies, because like we're on this planet in these bodies, and it's not like we can just be like pluck and go pick another one. So it's about learning that connection of everything so that we can make better choices in what it is that we're wanting to think and do and feel within our own experience while we're here.
That makes so much sense. I think for me,
good, because
no, it does though, because especially for me, and I've spoke about it on my channels and my podcast before, is, you know, that sense of feeling so lost and confused, and I always get this kind of roller coaster of, I'm really motivated and I'm really on track and I know what I'm doing. Fuck, I'm crashing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I feel so lost. And then just really understanding that there's really external factors and the outside information that can affect how your day-to-day thoughts are, your day-to-day emotions, your moods, and just how you carry yourself. To me, it's kind of having something to go, oh, that's the reason I'm like that. No, it's not just me and I'm a fuck up and all that shit that comes with it. So that was really, really powerful to hear from you. And if you guys are really interested in everything that Nadine's talking about, remember, I will be plugging her stuff. So definitely check it out. And I know you have some stuff, some courses and stuff that you're running if you want more information as well, but we'll go into that. So I thought that was so powerful. And it's just, if you don't know about this stuff, you don't know about it, right? Like, it's good to just have this outside information and how you can navigate through these hard times of self-love as well. So knowing all of that, what advice would you give for young females that are feeling kind of lost and, you know, down on themselves in terms of self-love and even direction? what kind of advice would you give them?
So from a direction point of view, is that you can feel, and like I know we've both been here before, is when you're feeling like you're on the right track and you're making like leeway into whatever it is that you're doing, then all of a sudden something pops up and it just seems way more bigger and harder than the last time it popped up. It may not be the same thing, but it's that same kind of like forces you to stop situation. And so for those moments, my biggest tip for that, and I do it as well, is introspection. So introspection is literally just self-reflection and going inwards. So sort of like how we're always looking outwards to figure out why it's happened or what's going on. It's, to me, I see that as a sign of going inwards to figure out how to move forwards from it, and being able to actually look at it, understand what's going on, how are you feeling from it, and deciding then, is it actually the right path that you're wanting to go down? Because how you were saying before, like, we don't know what we don't know. When we get asked, well, what do you want? And we say, oh, I want this, this, and this. We don't actually know if we want that because we've never had it before. It's just 100%. It's just like a nice, it would be like a nice to have. It's like having that goal of, oh, I want to buy a house. But if you've never owned a house before, and this is just a little like tidbit for those who are never been in the housing market, or for someone that has been, everyone thinks having a house is amazing and being in the property market and all that kind of thing. And I'm not saying don't do it, because obviously like it's a great investment, but there is so much shit that you don't know about when it comes to buying a house. Or if you've never bought a car before, there's so much shit that comes with stuff that you've never done before. And unless you do the proper research or, you know, gather the right information, you're not going to know until you do it, and you're not going to know until you have it. And it's not till then that you actually decide that, oh, you know, like maybe I didn't really want this. And that's when introspection is really important, at those times of when those barriers pop up. Because personal example of myself is that when an example is when I was going to get a job prior to working for myself. So I worked in health and safety for like 5 years prior to being a coach. And I thought that was what I was going to do for my whole entire life. I thought it was what I wanted. I thought it was everything that I was going to be, and I was going to change lives and go into all these workplaces and like make all this shit happen. And then I got in there, and like 2 years in, I was like, fuck this shit. Fuck this shit.
Yep.
And I was like, this is not what I wanted. I thought I wanted this, but it's actually not what I wanted. And that's where that introspection comes in. And it's not to say that you wasted your time, because everything that you do has lessons, and everything that you do has, everything that you do has something that you can learn from. So if we talk about it from a spiritual perspective, if you think of our soul has soul contracts with people and situations and things that have been destined for us, until we meet those soul contracts or those situations, we're not going to learn that lesson. But until we...
Did you call it a soul contract? That is really cool, because I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and, you know, what can you learn from each experience? And that's really powerful.
It's the same as, say, I don't know, the annoying manager out there, or the person who you really dislike but always seems to pop up all the time. Their soul contract with you may be that they're there to teach you patience, or they're there to teach you understanding, or they're there to teach you a specific lesson, and once you do learn it, they're not annoying anymore.
Wow. I love when you were talking about you know, self-reflection when you're going through this, especially in connection with retrograde. I saw that as, you know, this is happening for a reason, to slow us down, to really assess what's going on around you and make necessary changes, which is what I always talk about. But if we can, similar to your house and investment example that you gave, if we could go on the topic of you know, self-love and social media? Are you chasing things that you think you want based off of what you're always seeing and what's put in front of you, and you realize once you get that nose job or once you put a filter on, you're not really changing anything, are you? Because you never wanted that in the first place. It's a false reality of what you thought you wanted, but you're always chasing something because it's not real, and it's not what you actually in your heart want and what is going to make you feel good about yourself. It's what other people are telling you that you might want, if that makes sense. In my head it does. So the self-reflection part you mentioned is really, really powerful. That's cool.
And then it comes, I've shared a post or a quote on Instagram not that long ago around changing your body doesn't change your body image.
It's huge. It's and my recent one as well, change your mindset, not your body. We're definitely on the same path with where we're going, but I love the spiritual stuff that you teach. I think is kind of a missing factor in a lot of the confidence journey and self-love journey, especially for myself. Once you started opening up to me about it, I was like, I really want to learn more about this. And I think my listeners could really benefit from it as well. So that's really, really cool. That's awesome.
And just on the whole thing around validation from social media, is that if we look at it again from the spiritual side around the masculine and feminine energies.
Yes.
So the feminine, both masculine and feminine have the divine masculine and feminine traits. So that's like being grounded, fluid, intuitive, creative. But they both have wounded aspects to them as well. And one of the wounded feminine is looking for validation from others.
And that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that constant chase of reassuring you that you're on the right path as well. But that can sometimes be negative, I suppose. Yeah. Because it's not what you want. Like you shouldn't have to rely on other people to tell you to look a certain way or to feel a certain way or do a certain course or whatever it is. And I think that's what I've really struggled with for this whole time, is not feeling aligned with what I was doing at the time. And when you speak about self-reflection and just really slowing down and listening to what's going on around you. And I love the soul contractor people. I'm just picturing little people like coming to me going, this is what you need, babe. Like this lesson is for you. So that's so powerful. You're right. It's every conversation you have with someone, or every single course that you do, or every new person that you meet teaches you something different. And again, in the context of self-love and confidence, every single person can teach you something, but just make sure that it resonates with you and what you want, and make sure you're clear with what your end goals are for how you want to look and feel about yourself, not what society thinks you should look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely some big stuff to learn from everybody you speak to, but for you especially. So I'm excited to tell them how they can connect with you. That's cool.
Yeah. And because one of the other things that was really stopping me from fully embodying myself and feeling empowered by myself to be aligned to do what it is that I actually want to do and talk about. And I can't remember if you remember a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you that I was feeling really unaligned and like unclear on a lot of things, and I felt like I couldn't talk. Yeah. And I felt like what I was saying wasn't valued, or what I was talking about no one cared about. And that was when I stepped out of the spiritual closet and I just embodied it. And I was like, fuck it. I don't care if I lose followers. And because like the whole value metrics on Instagram and Facebook was never a big thing for me. But, well, I don't think it was a big thing for me. But I had that deeper, I guess, fear that if I drastically changed what it was that I talked about, because I went from talking about self-worth and confidence and that sort of thing, and just go boom straight talking about, you know, spirituality and soul contracts and, you know, all this mystical stuff that I've always embodied when I was a kid, changing like so drastically in my head. I was like, okay, how can I slowly transition? How can I do this without people noticing? And then I thought, no, fuck it, I'm just going to do it because it's what I want to do.
I don't even think it was a transition for you. I feel like I think you're really still passionate about, you know, helping people with their self-worth and their self-love, because you obviously went through that journey yourself. for you, I think it's just another door that you've opened, like
Yeah,
the fucking
yeah.
cherry on top to what
Yeah.
you're able to serve people with.
Yeah. But at the time of when I was like going through the thought pattern of, oh, how am I going to do it? In my head, I thought people were going to notice, like, just see it as, oh, like, shit, she's gone like all spiritual and stuff. Like, whoa, it's too much.
She's crazy, y'all.
She's crazy.
Unfollow.
Like, I know she like unicorns, but shit.
When you see her social media, you will get what we're talking about. Oh shit. But yeah, isn't that negative self-talk as well? There's limiting beliefs that come up for us. And it's fascinating. You said when you were little, you were doing all that spiritual stuff with your sand and the dirt and the flowers, and you're so realigned. Like what, 20 something years later, it's like, you know, you've kind of stuck with that passion throughout, and now it's all kind of aligning, and I hope it's all aligning and connecting for you. And for me personally, and from speaking to you and watching you and how we've kind of grown through the courses as well, I think there's nothing more powerful than feeling aligned with your purpose and having a very clear message and having a platform to share it, I think is the most powerful feeling as well. So women empowerment, look at us go. That's awesome. Well, that's fantastic. I think we'll definitely have to do a part 2 once you've stepped into your oracle or your life of calling. The unicorn arrives and takes us to the end destination. That's going to be a really powerful round 2, I reckon. But for now, tell the listeners how they can actually contact you or find you or follow you and learn a little bit more about you and what you do.
Cool. So easy. Rising Synergy on Instagram and Facebook. So the word rising, the word synergy, SYNERGY, and as well as Rising Synergy podcast as well.
Beautiful. And I will obviously link all of those directly to the description of this podcast. The video will be up on YouTube as well, with some links to all of Nadine's social media accounts. And she runs challenges for females and obviously does one-on-one coaching. So if you guys are interested, just like I am, in learning all about this and opening a shit ton of doors for yourself and just mind exploding and all the rest of it, definitely reach out to her. But thank you so much for jumping on. It's more of a selfish thing for me. I just like learning from you, but the others can listen if they like. I don't really care. It's more for my benefit, guys, so you can just sit there and listen if you like. But thank you.
She was just being really nice and recording it for other people to listen to.
I might as well get something out of it for the listeners, but it's really for me, you know. No, but thank you so much. You are so powerful and beautiful, and I really appreciate everything you do for me and your listeners and my listeners. So thank you again.
That's okay. You're more than welcome.
Awesome, babe. Will you enjoy the rest of your day?
You too.
Bye. Bye.